You're listening to the Wicked Theory Podcast.
We're very happy to have you back, even for a short visit.
And here we go.
Almost. Broadcasting to you live from the glittery toll booth at the Rainbow Bridge to Asgard. This is the Wicked Theory Podcast.
Hello.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Brought to you by Slayer.
Was it? Yeah,
Yeah, Kerry King.
There you go. Wicked Theory Podcast. My name's Bill Sweeney. Here we are once again. And that's Jay. You heard him a little bit.
Uncle Jay.
You heard my brother Bob on guitar. And
Hello.
we also have Ed.
If we were to live in the topsy-turvy world Mr. Benson imagines, think of what it would mean. Why, I'd have to negotiate with the silkworms for the elastic in my breeches.
We all know how negotiating with silkworms goes. It's slippery. Okay, we literally just did that whole thing twice now. The whole way
Yeah,
through.
and I think because of you, we should be doing it a third time.
That's way too hard of a laugh, Ed.
Slippery. That's good.
Okay. All right.
Slippery britches.
Yeah. It's kind of like that kind of a start to a show.
Quite clever.
Yes. Thank you, Ed.
What are we talking about today?
I don't know. Nerd stuff?
Evidently toast because it's very dry in here.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit. This is episode 130. And we've
1:30.
reunited for your entertainment pleasure. Like we've gotten the band back together.
We got a great show for
Wow,
you
so
guys
we're like
tonight.
halfway through
you
our
We got a great fucking show.
third year.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, 130. I think that's the aluminum siding anniversary. Right?
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Sounds about right. I thought it was just like an aluminum ball
Well,
that's
since
like
they probably
wadded
don't
up
make
in-
aluminum siding anymore, so that's probably expensive now, right?
Yeah?
It's rare. You'll be seeing that on American Pickers soon.
So anyway, this is episode 130. We're gonna get to some news. We got some email. I think. I don't know. I didn't check it yet. Surprise me, people, if you're listening live.
Playing fast and loose.
Speaking of live, we got a chat room game. If you listen to us live, if you come hang out, we always give you guys something to do for sure, to play with.
Yep, chat room games loose and fast.
Everybody loves a good chat room game. And then I believe we have some reviews. We have some reviews of stuff.
Oh, we got.
We got stuff.
I gotta start watching better movies.
Probably.
Yeah. I apologize. I feel really bad
Yeah.
about some of the movies I have to talk about this week.
You should. You were warned, but we'll get to that.
What, you saw Coco already?
So, what? Okay. So people can also check out Ed on the DCTV report every week with Sarah Netzley,
Yup.
freelance writer for Entertainment Weekly, where she does much recapping of her own, but she also hosts with Ed on DCTV report.
Yes. We had a lot of stuff go down this week.
Yeah, busy week for you guys.
Busy week. That episode, if you're listening live, it goes up in about 5 hours, midnight tonight.
Remind me after the show,
and-
Ed, to set that up so that I don't miss it. I
Sure.
didn't do any work on it.
Okay, good to know.
Shit.
And if you're listening this on your podcast app of choice, then you can download it right now through that same podcast
Right.
app
Yeah.
of choice.
Right. If this is in the future to our present.
Yes. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. If you're not listening live, which I think is a vast majority of our audience.
Oh shit! Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay. No, cool. All right. I thought we were gonna get into some time travel stuff.
We have an audience?
Don't get nervous, Bob. It's too late.
People actually listen?
It's too late. So yeah. So who is this listening? Who is in the chat room?
Oh, in the chat, we've got Wesley Ryan Gaskins.
Yeah.
We've got Agent Palmer.
Right.
We got James Luciana.
Yeah.
Which is James someplace else right now. He moved, right? Or he is moving.
The guy gets around.
We got Zombie John. We got Chris Meyer, host of our liner notes.
Hey.
Yeah, and we have an Elsewhere. Which
Oh.
hello everybody.
Hey. Thanks for coming. Thanks for listening. Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah.
Let's give him a chat room game. Let's give him something to do.
All right.
Let's,
Chat room
we're
game.
gonna go with broken TV shows.
Examples include Broken Bad and Falcon's Crutch.
So whichever way you get that to make it sense of breaking, rundown.
I'm sorry, I was trying to create atmosphere. What was that again?
It was called broken TV shows.
Okay.
Examples include Broken Bad
Right.
and
gotcha.
Falcon's Crutch.
Right. I got that. That's why I didn't.
Fair enough. Just giving the whole thing again.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, by the way,
Yeah.
I want to say apologize that I wasn't here last week.
right.
I did listen to the show.
Oh,
and,
give me a goddamn
Ed,
break.
don't
You
apologize. We enjoyed it.
apologize. Are you kidding me?
No,
I'm kidding.
I missed it. But I had a secret mission to get a dog out of this country, out of this continent into Hawaii, where he is now. Thank
Right.
God. And I had to go to a funeral. Sad story.
Aw.
Jay,
I wasn't here either, but I'm not apologizing.
where were you?
He was on assignment, kinda.
Sort of.
Please report.
Well, actually, if people were listening to last week's show, they'll know exactly where I was.
They might have an inkling.
I was in
In
the...
fact, you had to listen to that show to find out where you were.
Exactly. But I
You remember going to ChillerCon, right?
I remember half that phone call.
Okay.
I remember making the call. I remember making the adjustments, and then it just slowly fades to black. But I was at the Chiller Theater Expo. I go there twice a year. It's held biannually. And
Yeah, that's what twice a year means.
I've
right.
been doing this a long fucking time, but it's just a great time to hook up with your friends and
Sure.
and it was a loud, crazy ass time.
Compare notes, serial killers gather, and
Yeah,
compare
it's
notes for murder sprees and stuff like that, right?
as I've said before on the show, it's changed over the years. It used to be horror based, but now it's cult television. There's comic book artists.
Sure.
There's stand up
growing.
comedians.
It's growing.
So were you standing outside, grabbing them, and said, "Listen to my podcast"?
I did not. I put the cards out. People were taking them,
Like a gentleman, like a
And,
fucking gent.
and
you
I
did it like a gent.
and I even did some.
That's why I asked the way I asked.
I
wanted
did
to
some
make sure.
recon. Like I said, I put them down, and then I went outside the doors, and I looked just to see if they
Right.
were taking them, and they were. They were putting them in their bag.
Nice.
And it was so.
Oh,
Hopefully, we get some
nice.
listeners out of that.
Cool, that'd be
But
cool.
it was a great time. It was a lot of fun, and I look forward to April when it happens
If
again.
you're listening to us and you picked up one of those cards from ChillerCon,
Yeah.
whether
Yeah.
it's for this show or actually if they
Or
listen to
for-
the DC TV podcast, I
Yeah.
don't know if you listen
Hey,
to both of
yeah,
these,
let
but
us-
let us know.
if
Yeah,
you picked
absolutely,
up
let
the
us know.
card at Chiller Theater,
Right,
the guy that left it was that crazy Italian guy running rampant
watching you from behind some fake
with
fern,
a bottle of wild turkey.
behind a plastic
Yeah.
fern.
Yeah, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. He's not Mexican.
But it's different
He's
than
too tall.
other cons.
He's too tall. That's true.
Like when you go to WizardCon or if you go to Comic-Con, right? You're going to a convention and that's pretty much fucking it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Here, there's like a party. They play a lot of music. There's a lot of live bands. If there's an actual musician, they'll play there. Like Sherry Curry from the Runaways was there. She
Nice.
sang
Okay.
a couple songs. I know at Richie.
Sambora,
No,
Sambuca,
Richie.
Santa Rosso.
That was the problem for Richie Sambora.
was doing Sambuca?
That's why he's not with Bon Jovi anymore.
Richie Scarlett. He was
Richie
Ace
Scarlett.
Frehley's guitarist for Frehley's Comet, but he is still actually a decent guitarist.
He was actually one of the guys who was always covering for Ace when Ace was in Kiss.
Right.
Because Ace was too drunk or too busy getting drunk
Right.
to be in the studio.
Exactly. There's reports of people tripping over him in fucking sessions.
There you go.
Because he was.
That's the life of a rock band back then.
Yeah.
He wasn't
by
there.
By the way, on a quick aside, he recently sold his 1959 gold top Gibson Les Paul
Oh, okay.
for $2 million.
Nice. Well, congratulations on that.
Congrats.
You know, that's what you
Well,
want. That's
he
the
probably
best
he
thing
probably
that can
needed the
happen.
money. That's
Yeah.
what that is.
I know. Mortgages.
Because it's worth about $10 million.
Well, he wasn't there at this show. He was at the last show, and he did play. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And guys from Quiet Riot were there last
Okay.
time. They play for you guys.
Skid
They're
Row
just not
lives in
there for a
Jersey, so you
signing.
might see them every once in a while too.
Right. So if anybody wants to go check it out, check them out at chillertheater.com. The next show is in April.
All right. Go check out Skid Row and ask him if it's still going wild.
Sebastian Bach.
Meow Guy in the chat wants to know if we saw Thor, and the answer to that is yes, but we're not talking about it just yet.
Just yet, we're probably going to do a spoiler special later on in this broadcast live. We'll probably take a break, and that will probably comprise the after show. We probably won't really have much of a true after show, so We'll probably do a.
That'll be the big.
We'll get into it in a
big thing
minute.
there.
We'll get into it in a minute because we're going to get into the meanwhile and stuff in a little bit. So we'll touch on Thor and then we'll do some stuff later on. All in good time. But in the meantime, we're going to do some news because things have happened since we last spoke to you guys. You like the news? You like the news? Oh, yeah. O'clock. Brought to you by Bengay. I have to save all of Bob's stuff. All his stuff almost went down.
We're
He's
experiencing
bringing the entire
technical
headphone
fucking
cables,
difficulties.
everything. It's
If-
all snagged.
yeah.
It's all tied to the neck of his guitar right
Okay,
now.
so we're good.
I think so.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah. So, well, the first
Evidently, I have to get my foot switch fixed now.
the first bullet point of the news, I don't feel comfortable reading because it's a question for me.
Yes,
So
well, so
someone
let's-
want to pose it?
Well, okay, I'll set it up. Last week, we were talking about the fact that Levi Strauss has been hired to play
Gesundheit.
Shazam. And the Shazam movie, or
Zachary Levi.
okay.
Yes. And you want
Is it Levi or Levy?
it's Levi.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Because it's Eugene Levy.
Actually, it's Levy, so I think it's Levy.
No, he
It's-
spells it Levi. Eugene Levy spells it Levy.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, okay, so then it's Levi.
So, if anybody knows anything from listening to this show, more than 3 episodes probably is probably what you need to know.
Yeah.
Ed's the resident big time Captain Marvel / Shazam
Yes.
fan.
His name is Captain Marvel.
His name is Captain Marvel.
It felt really weird not being here last week.
Yeah,
The
it
story
felt
broke.
like wow.
Yeah,
Ed,
there was kind of some.
this was
big
your
news.
moment. This was your time to shine.
Yeah.
And you were out just
Yeah, so
getting rid of a dog.
This movie starts shooting in April.
So he's actually started taking steroids last week, right?
Yes, yeah, and I've been on pins and needles. Bill has known this in our conversations with
Yes.
all these wacky ideas. You know, there's a Martin Scorsese Joker movie. There's a, Deathstroke's getting a movie. All these stories
Right,
coming
right.
out.
Yes, right.
That the whole thing I've been waiting for is Shazam casting. Like this is what I've been like.
So here's the thing. Let's just
So was
jump-
there disappointment in
right,
your?
let's jump to it. How do
you
you feel about it?
I am jazzed. I think this is perfect casting.
I think anybody in that case, I guess they could have
Yes.
gotten anybody for you, and you would have felt good about it.
No.
I'm nervous as hell.
No.
I'm
know,
a little concerned.
Yeah, no. I know he's not traditional action hero.
Right.
But
no,
he did play Fandral in Thor: The Dark World.
That's
so-
not counting.
Okay, but it's at least a little bit of he has a little bit of action, and the thing that this character needs is charm
Right.
and optimism. He needs to have that boyish outlook because it's a 12-year-old boy.
Well,
in there.
this is what I was saying last week. Like,
And
I
this
get
is-
why you pick him. Like, he can bring
Yeah.
that. He can bring all of that.
To me, this is inspired. This to me is like Chris Pratt as Star-Lord.
That's a hard sell, but
Yeah,
it's a wait and see.
I mean, physically, obviously, there's something to make up for.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that he will be more than up to the task.
Well, I mean,
It wouldn't be the first time we've seen someone have to step up who did physically and really beef up for a role. I mean, Chris Hemsworth and what's his name, Captain America, Chris
Evans.
yeah, pretty much any guy named Chris in,
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
an action movie. Brolin, like all these guys, like they
Yeah.
I think he will obviously get as jacked as he can, and even he played Chuck. As that show went on, he took on more and more of the action element role with that show. I didn't follow it forever.
Yeah, and
gave up.
I have to binge that show now. I have to watch.
Now you have to
Yeah.
worship at the altar of this guy.
No, I don't have to worship at the altar. I have to watch that show for reconnaissance to see
to help gauge
help
as you
gauge what's going on.
All right, fair
But
enough.
right now, based on what I know of this guy and what I've seen of this actor, I'm feeling positive about this movie for the first time in a while.
All right,
Because
well, yeah.
the fact that they got a guy who usually does horror movies,
Yeah.
and the direction that they were going in, I was a little nervous. If you asked me dream casting, I thought Channing Tatum would have been. I thought John Cena was a good choice.
Right.
But I think this, from a character perspective, this is right in line with what you want. It's going to
good.
be whether or
Yeah.
not he can fill that role physically, which
That's the
I don't
thing.
think is going to be that much of a leap for him.
Well, I think that's the only question because I agree. I mean, on that anyway. And we just wanted to make sure that you got your 2 cents in. You know, I was hoping for something more dramatic, which was like you being soul crushed by this somehow, or. You know, can we pretend it's somebody that crushes you? Like,
he also has his own podcast.
like Stephen Lang, maybe.
Jones it out too.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's
that's right. You actually did hear me talk about this on DCTV Report last week.
Couldn't contain it. Shaking in the like. I have to say something somewhere.
Yeah, it was right at the end of the episode.
Since this is technically not TV.
Yeah, and I had just found out.
Right,
But,
it did break over.
Yeah,
the
no,
weekend.
but thinking back on that, I think this is a good choice, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
All right, we all are. So, kind of semi-associated is that Black Adam movie has found its writer, which I thought was something that was already kind of in play, but
Oh no, they announced.
It sounds like DC is feeling good going forward now about Justice League because they're really starting to move forward with a couple of properties which, until recently, really felt like back burner stuff.
Yeah. I mean, you could totally take it that way. I think, they're letting things happen now. Slow pace, controlled pace, maybe, but that's good. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
So who do we know who it is? Is it anybody like worth noting? I mean, if it's in the news, we have to kind of discuss it. So.
Adam Stickeel,
Okay.
who's it says here. This is an article from Movie Hole.
I don't trust the movie hole.
He's
He was in that song from Laverne and Shirley.
yeah. He also wrote Due Date.
Shaquille Slavazo.
Right. What, Ed?
He wrote Due Date.
Right. Oh, okay.
And he wrote a Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie.
Okay.
He wrote a Chipmunk sequel. So
Okay.
this is an odd choice, but okay,
All
we'll
right.
see.
He impressed somebody somewhere, and I'm sure The Rock is very picky. So all right, put that on the shelf. What do we got next in there? As I scroll down, but feel free to take it. Okay, Morgan Creek Film Company. I thought we had this in the doc. Maybe I never put it in last week. They're looking to reboot.
Yeah, I thought this company was defunct.
They're kind of quasi out of it, but this is going to be part of their play to come back, basically. But they're going to be looking to kind of reboot, sequelize, or prequelize a bunch of stuff that's in their catalog, properties in their catalog that kind of haven't been, milked yet. For lack of a better word, I couldn't think of the word. Mined.
Well,
mined
Morgan
yet.
Creek.
Sodomized.
Go.
Morgan Creek has been giving us movies for about 30 years now. The guy's name was James G. Robinson.
Sure.
He, he's got Ace Ventura off the ground. He got Young Guns off the ground, Major League. There was a lot of properties that were successful for them.
Sure.
And you haven't. The reason why you said they might have been defunct is because you haven't heard from them in a while.
Yeah.
But it looks like they're still kind of around. But now they're trying to take these properties and make them either TV shows out of them or, maybe even try to get a sequel or a prequel. But I was telling Bill before the show, I can easily see like Young Guns being a Netflix show, like bringing back like the Western.
Well, didn't they do something with Young Guns on TV?
No, there was 2 movies and then that was it, I think.
Yeah.
Didn't USA do something really bad for?
I think they tried to cash in on it. I think there was like a Western show
I know what you're talking
or
about.
some, with some young guys. I can't remember the name of it.
The Young Riders, it was called.
Yeah, there was
That's
something
what it
that
was.
tried to like come in on it. It was like, basically.
Yeah, I could swear there was like something that lasted like 6 weeks.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like
That was like Young Guns.
Yeah, it was like a
I think it
USA
was called
show or something.
The Young
maybe.
Riders, I think it was called. I think Josh Brolin
well,
was
actually,
on that.
it's on right now. No, I'm sorry. I apologize. It ran on ABC from 1989 to 1992.
There was a Young Guns TV show.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was called The Young Riders.
Okay. But it was about them when they were even younger.
Starred Carlos
right?
Estevez.
Group of young Pony Express riders based in the Nebraska Territory prior to the Civil War.
Okay.
No, it wasn't based on the Young Guns guys. No, it was
It's
just
a different group of guys that worked for that
different group of
ranch
guys.
herder.
There was somebody who was ripping off the idea.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
That's
found their way in. So anyway, so this kind of article is talking about how they have Ace Ventura, Major League, Young Guns, Dead Ringers, Diabolique, Pacific Heights, and Nightbreed, and
Those aren't the movies they're talking about.
Well, let's see. I could see Ace Ventura being a weekly Netflix thing.
Well,
Yeah.
they're saying that these are the movies that are in their catalog.
Yeah. They have a library of 60 plus movies,
Yeah.
including,
Yeah.
And these are some of the higher, points of the article points out. But these are also like in every article I've read about this, especially from Deadline. These are the ones that they point out specifically.
Right.
So, some obviously probably better for TV shows than others. I mean, Major League seems like a kind of thing that like would just we're in that era right now. That'd be great as a TV show. That feels like, what's the HBO one with what's his name? Now he's doing Principals, but the Kenny Powers.
Eastbound and Down.
Eastbound and Down,
yeah.
like that kind of a thing. I think Pacific Heights, even though it's kind of like, I think that as a TV show could probably work. I could see them trying that as a TV show because it's like, okay, you can remake it, but you can't make a sequel or a prequel out of it. It's about people who rent an apartment to a shitty, fucking creepy
guy,
who turns the tables on them.
No, it's
stuff.
a one-note.
It's a one-note thing, or it's a slow burn TV show of some kind. That's like a one-season show.
What about if you make it about the guy who fucks up their house?
Well, it is.
Well, that's what Pacific Heights was about.
Yeah.
Right, but what if? Okay, now he's there. He's in the house for 3 months. Finally gets kicked out.
Well, that's what I mean.
Where does he go now? He moves on to another family somewhere. And what's he doing? And what's his scam? Maybe there's a bigger scam going on.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
How do you reinterpret it for the new age?
Like the Michael Keaton role.
Because eventually, like, he takes over their house. Like, he gets the property. Like, all this kinds of shit.
He fucks it up, and but it'd be cool to follow the series follows his character.
Oh, yeah.
Because it doesn't. They follow the couple.
The couple. Right.
So maybe following his character might be a good show.
Yeah.
Right.
Each show is him fucking these people's houses.
But he just keeps bouncing from town to town.
And why he's doing this.
Right.
You know what I mean? Kind of like Better Call Saul, but with this twisted fuck.
So I think there's some life in it. As much as like we're in an era where like I'm surprised it took them this long to kind of like come to this kind of a thing. But some of these
I
things
see
can
Ace
work.
Ventura. Let's see, as a cartoon kid show,
That already happened.
and as a half-hour comedy where he finds a different animal. Disney style, but it could also be something a little more mature too. For because
I just feel like that's a thing where it's like it's so about Jim Carrey that like I don't know, you got to reinvent it or find some other guy that's like just going to be amping Jim Carrey.
Well, what about what's his name? Elongated Man.
Well, I know we were talking about that in this week's Flash. How that guy just seemed like Jim Carrey's cousin Steve. But
it looks like it's a guy that is sitting on a lot of really great properties. You know what I mean? Because he had a lot of success with his company inside of 30 years. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
There you go. We wish you the best of luck.
Yeah, hopefully something good comes out of it.
35 years of John Rambo.
Oh yeah.
All right, on to the next.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, it was good stuff. I liked it. All right, what do we got next? I don't know. What you put it in the notes there, buddy?
Yeah,
Did you want to have a moment?
October 22nd marked the 35th anniversary of First Blood.
So we're out. What are we doing? We're late. We're late. Don't, you know what I mean? Like if it's my birthday, don't call me 5 days later. You know?
First of all, I wasn't here last week.
Yeah.
Secondly, we all fucking love Rambo here. We gotta
what?
wish him fucking happy birthday.
No, you don't.
Yeah, you do.
No, you don't.
I just did.
Nobody else did.
You didn't because
I didn't know. I didn't know until 8 days later.
Yo, Rambo, happy birthday.
Hey, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. There you go. That's that.
You got class.
Hey, I like Rambo.
I'm just busting balls.
Yeah, but people think wrong. They think you don't give a shit.
What do you mean? Like, no. Well, look, if you don't listen to the show, maybe you think I don't give a shit.
Well, I really, I've
if they
enjoyed
listen to the show,
film.
they know you don't give a shit.
maybe a little bit of that.
No, I did. This is one of those movies where I actually watched it, you fell in love with it, and but never did I expect it to be the fucking character it became because that was like a one shot and done, and it wasn't until like 3 years later.
And it's almost like when you go back and rewatch the first one now, you kind of wish it hadn't gotten so crazy because the first one is so grounded,
right,
and feels so like approachable and normal and believable, and then like. That starts to go out the window in part 2.
Yeah, it's a fucking whole different animal.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But
Oh, I'm sorry. You guys aren't talking about Ace Ventura.
No. Bob's keeping up.
No, but the difference between that first film and whatever comes after is like night and day, really.
Yeah, it jumps pretty hard every movie.
You know what I mean? Not to shit on those other movies because they did exactly what it set out to do.
Yeah. It's one of the great things about that first movie, though, is that like, only something that grounded could have launched that kind of a series in a way. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like the first Die Hard is so grounded and so real too.
Same with Lethal Weapon.
You know what I mean? Exactly. Like, you know, good action movies are like that. Like, you know, they just feel real, and then they, much like anything else, kind of in a way, like sequelitis sets in. You know.
Well, I feel that Rambo,
It held its own.
The
to a
second
degree.
one kind of created that summer actioner.
It did.
You know what I mean?
It opened up the door for that in a
that
big
and
way.
Commando, because they came out
Yeah.
around the same time.
Sure.
So I feel that, you know, maybe a little bit with the Terminator, but the Terminator was a little bit different. It was more science fiction.
First.
But I feel that Rambo and Commando definitely set that actioner of big explosions, big fucking, you know, epic, you know, summer blockbuster kind of thing. Action.
Cool.
Oriented.
So in the studio, John Rambo. John, how's it feel now looking back on your career after all these years?
It's good. Yeah, it's good.
All right. Thanks for coming in, John.
No problem.
We'll help you find the door on the way out.
You know where my knife is? I can't leave without it.
I'm sure it's in someone's back.
Maybe.
He's old now. John's taking a couple of shots. All right. So with that, moving right along. I put a little poll out for this little bit of news because I was curious as to how people might take this or react to this idea. Speaking of TV series and things being adapted, Amazon supposedly is in a huge bidding war right now to bring Lord of the Flies. Lord of the Rings, rather. Jesus. Well, that's a bit of a difference, I guess. Whoa. Piggy Wiggy's I don't know who's gonna be Piggy Wiggy now.
We haven't had like 1,000 hours of the Lord of the Rings?
Exactly, kind of my feeling.
Not enough.
Like just never enough, I guess.
No.
I mean, I love the story. I read the books.
Sure.
I read them twice.
Fair enough.
No. I'll tell you exactly.
But, you know.
Exactly why the fans of the books want this because they want Tom Bombadil.
That's
Like the one
that's what I was-
thing
Yeah.
that was missing from that first Peter
Yeah.
Jackson round.
So
Just what you need is a lonely giant sitting there hanging out with a bunch of elves for a couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
That's such a boring part of the story.
So,
But he's he's a fun character.
it's great, yeah. So, what's interesting about the news item is that actually, supposedly, buzz is that the family, for the rights alone, wants $200 million for the rights, for you to come in the door, and then we'll start talking about budget and all that stuff. Like the walk in the door rights, not our slice of the profits afterwards.
See, to me, that's like, fuck you, don't do this.
Well, I think
That's like,
it might be like saying like, oh, hey, like we'd like to do it, but we want somebody who's going to go balls deep on it, like,
Yeah.
and bring something like the movies, like, you know, which kind of like,
Right.
kind of in a way, kind of sets a bar.
they want Game of Thrones.
Yeah, and it kind of sets a bar in a way where it says like,
Yeah.
look, like, first of all, they're doing a TV show, like we probably shouldn't half-ass it.
well, it's weird because like the Peter Jackson seems so definitive. Like
Exactly.
I don't
So
really
recent.
see anything else
Yeah.
that they can improve on with that.
I mean, you could split it
know,
up into like, you know,
unless
episodes and just make those movies a series. That's like it's
Yeah.
2 seasons
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, the only other thing I could think of is like the Silmarillion, which don't do that because that's boring as sin.
Well, that's the other question too. Is like, you know,
'cause-
some people are probably pointing to all this other extra content that hasn't gotten developed, but meanwhile, some of that content is like partial or sparse, from my understanding. It's like a lot of this
Yeah.
stuff is like not really fully developed because it's like history of the world, and so a lot of it's kind of like referential and brief.
yeah, Silmarillion's written like a textbook.
You're right. You know what I mean? And it's not fully wholly developed like other novels are, like because they're about a singular thing. Like you know what I mean? So anyway, I put a poll out on this one. Good idea, bad idea poll. Keeping it easy for people. 57% said good idea.
Yeah.
43 bad. So hey, you know, keep an eye out for those. Good idea, bad idea. Sponsored
I think
by
it's-
Animaniacs.
I think it's a bad idea.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it's too soon, maybe, or I don't know how you make it different or what you could do because is the Legion of Love there for this? I guess, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think that honestly, I don't think you're going to be able to improve on Peter Jackson's movies. I just don't, and I don't think they should touch this. What are you going to add?
Yeah,
You're just giving
really
us
not
you're
going to
retelling
add
it.
anything. But
You're rebooting.
I
something that shouldn't be
could see
rebooted.
them stretching out certain areas but then you're talking about stretching out areas that aren't that eventful to begin with.
Meow God saying that they can improve by making the magic more visible than the Peter Jackson ones. The book is full of.
In what way, though?
I don't know. Then the books, according to him, have like more magic in them than the movies took out quite a bit. And maybe that's true to a degree, but like because he streamlined it to a degree.
Well, there was a lot of stuff with Saruman,
right?
Because Saruman's like barely in the last the second and third one at all, and he was more of a presence in those books. Plus, you could go prequel. Let's hear Gandalf's story. Tell that from the beginning.
But will it be connected to the movies?
Oh no! I think that's evident.
Then they should just leave it alone.
Just walk away from it, folks.
Because the only way this is going to be connected to the movies is if New Line gets it. If New Line or Warner Brothers.
Yeah, like this is going to be some kind of like starting over type thing.
Unless Warner Brothers is involved and they're looking. Yeah.
They are involved.
Yeah, I mean, unless it's like they're trying to sell the rights to a TV streaming service or TV outlet to take it on. But
they have Saruman and Gandalf fight. I don't know.
That was a pretty big fight in Fellowship of the Ring. That was like one of the better fights I thought in that movie. Was when Gandalf and Saruman went at it.
And Gandalf.
Gandalf.
All right. Well, I mean, we'll see what that develops because, the big thing over at Amazon right now is that supposedly because he's let go a couple of top people that he's personally Bezos or whatever his name is.
Steve Bezos.
Yeah, he's personally like involved in this, trying to get this. That he feels like this would be a big thing, a big get.
Well, they got Thursday Night Football now. So.
Oh, Amazon does, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's
Well, you know what? If he's that involved, maybe we shouldn't be talking about it because they are opening up a warehouse nearby, so and we might all end up working there or want to work there at some point.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So in that case, let's move on to the next one. Let's shit on Disney.
Okay, that's good.
So Disney's kind of doing like a bit of a douche move. Like if we did douche of the week, it might be Disney this week. So they are literally raising the price for movie theaters on Star Wars this release. Some weird stipulations, but they've raised it to 65%.
Yeah, I was reading this.
And that now, and if you don't run it for at least 4 weeks, there'll be an extra 5% tacked on. Theaters that have only one screen kind of fall under a different setup. Like, if you're a one-screen theater, it's like kind of a different thing. But like they're really kind of forcing the multiplex's hand here. And they're kind of like throwing their weight around a little bit because it's like if you want to show it, this is the new rate. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think what that 65% means, that means Disney gets a 65% share of the ticket sales revenue.
Right.
Usually I think it's like 55.
Right. So basically, if it's a $15 ticket, they're getting $10.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do math, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's about right.
I'll take anybody's word. But so it feels like a thing where it's like, all right, but is this now going to be the new norm? Like, are you going to be pressuring fucking? Because you're a behemoth, you know what I mean? So
no, this is because it's Disney and because it's Star Wars.
Yeah, that's like it feels like it's just opportunism. You know what I mean? And a little bit of them throwing their weight around more than they normally kind of do.
This is that great Ray Liotta speech in Goodfellas. This is their "fuck you, pay me" moment.
Mm-hmm. Basically, it's like
they're being the Verizon.
Basically, they're flexing their muscle, and it's like does this, change things? Does this mean anything?
I don't think it changes a damn thing, to be honest with you, because the movie's going to make an insane amount of money.
Sure.
The only thing that I did, because I did read the article, the only thing I do kind of agree with is they said that, for some of these multiplexes and, dine-ins and shit like that, they want it to be in the same theater, their best and biggest theater.
Right.
All right? I kind of agree with that because there's going to be a lot of people that are not going to be able to see this opening weekend.
Right.
That, it's already sold out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but also...
But let me finish this.
Good.
The fact is that sometimes when the movie's been in theaters for about 3 weeks, they start moving the fucking prints into smaller theaters.
Right.
That's
what I mean? And that sucks. You know what I mean? I think people should see it on the biggest fucking screen possible.
Right, but here's the problem. If there's a better movie, a movie that's making more money 3 weeks later,
right,
that's got to go in the best theater.
And that's the only reason that they do it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like a movie theater isn't going to
if
shift the movie around.
3
if it's
weeks
making
later,
money.
it's still making money, but it's not filling up that theater.
Well,
And something else will.
Right.
I mean, they got to be able to have control of the decisions that they make in their own business.
Well, from the month.
So I think in that respect, like it's got to stay in there and stay in one theater for the whole length of the time it's there. I think that's a little bit bullish on their part. That's
a
what
little
it's-
bit. I agree.
Okay. Let's look at the other movies that are coming out in those 4 weeks.
Well, before you read that off, all I'm saying is that this is the movie to do it because that's
Oh,
all
yeah.
anybody's
Oh, yeah.
going to be talking
Oh,
about
yeah.
for the next month and a half.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Well,
I
it's a
think you're
classic
fine.
muscle game in that. It's like, when any company finally has something pretty much like a lock. Like we got the muscle to flex behind.
Yeah.
Now's the time to make the move.
Right.
Like if we want to kind of reestablish dominance kind of thing. You know what I mean? And like, you wonder if this is like a long play a little bit. Like Disney's going to start going, with their own service soon. To probably, where are things going to, where's it, is there a grander play at work here?
You see, if Disney did this with something like Captain Marvel,
right,
that movie that's coming
Yeah.
out with it was
Brie Larson.
Brie Larson. If they did it with something like that, where
Sure.
you don't know
Right.
where it's going to
Yeah,
go,
yeah.
I can understand them saying, "All right, well, maybe
Right.
we shouldn't take a chance on this."
Right.
With Star Wars, it's going to make the money it was going to make, no matter what.
Don't get me wrong. Like, it's not like, sure. The thing is, it's just that, like, it's one of these things where it's like, what kind of pressure does this put on other theaters?
Yeah.
Well, the fact of the matter is that theaters are going to make more money on the popcorn and the soda and the candy and all that crap
Yeah.
than they're going to make on anything else anyway.
Well, that's what Disney points to. The Disney then, will point to, well, you're still going to make tons of, your money on the concessions and all that stuff. And it's like, yeah, but, theaters don't raise the price of the tickets because the popcorn price goes up. They raise the price of the tickets because the price on fucking the movie goes up.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or whatever the market will dictate in the region. But that's the thing. Like, they're not going to just eat that. Theaters, if this becomes the standard, theaters aren't just going to eat that. And that's going to continue to, like, play out in a thing where it's
Yeah,
like,
they're
it's going
gonna
to
end up-
continue driving people away, where it's like, I'm paying now $20 to go sit down and see it. You know what I mean? It's
That's what they're going to end up doing with this movie.
Yeah.
Charge for $20.
I don't particularly with
Yeah,
this particular title. I don't see.
No,
a
they're
problem.
not going to raise the price. No. Because
Okay,
theaters will eat this.
So here's the release schedule coming out. December 15th.
Okay.
The only other movie, and these are the movies that open wide during that time period. So December 15th, Star Wars, Last Jedi, and Ferdinand.
Okay. Yeah.
Star Wars was going to get that premium. The following week,
Yeah.
Is
got-
there a Harvey Weinstein produced movie coming out that? Because then that'd be an easy week.
No. The following week, we've got The Greatest Showman, the Hugh Jackman, P.T. Barnum
Keep
movie,
going.
and Jumanji.
Keep going.
And Downsizing, Father Figures, Pitch Perfect 3. None of those are really big. Yeah, and then there's like nothing else wide that I'm seeing, and this is off.
I mean, they're destined to dominate the season by that reasoning alone.
Yeah,
Like,
the
it's
next
like,
thing is January 5th, Insidious.
I think it's a play for them to kind of establish a new pricing point. And if anything, if there's an outcry, we'll dial it back. We'll dial it back to 60.
I'm just saying it's-
whatever. If there's a backlash, it's the old haggling thing.
Right.
We'll push for another 10 or 15, and then when they balk, we'll dial it back to half. Halfway, and then they'll be cool with it.
What I'm saying is they picked the perfect movie because
it's muscle.
It's muscle, and the theaters aren't going to complain about it because they know they're going to make the money.
Well,
anyway.
they'll cry about it, but the only ones who will take a stand are going to be small guys because like they kind of feel like they have to.
Well, but you said-
because they got like a one thing, and I don't know how far that ekes out too. With the whole kind of like there's a different kind of standard
Yeah,
to
and-
one theater, one room theater.
They've scared off all the other distributors to release anything else in their wake. They basically are going to own that next 4
I'm
weeks
surprised
anyway.
they don't own theaters. I'm surprised Disney doesn't own
It's
theater.
because it's illegal. It's part of it's antitrust. They
Yeah,
broke
but
that up.
what
They
about,
broke that up in the 60s.
So for all those years when it said Universal Artists, that was
United Artists. Yeah, no, that had in I think it was the 70s. Basically, that when the studio system broke down,
Okay.
there was an antitrust suit
Okay.
where movie houses could
couldn't
not own
the
theaters.
Right. Okay.
So
Fair enough. All right.
However, that did happen well into the 90s, actually, because Cineplex Odeon was a theater chain, and they wound up producing movies. But what's funny is that Cineplex Odeon doesn't exist anymore, and I don't think that but they did coincide.
Yeah,
Together.
there is probably a loophole
Yeah.
because Alamo Draft House is doing that too.
Right.
Where they're kind of backing some movies.
They are. That's true.
You know, so I think there's probably has something to do with the size of maybe the chain or something like
Yeah,
that. Or
yeah.
maybe, it's probably some numbers game.
Yeah, no, but it was like there was a point where literally like you could only like
Yes,
there were
I do
Fox
recall that.
theaters, there was a Paramount, there were,
Right,
you know,
right.
where it was like now
The Warner.
the rise of multiplexes really killed that.
The multiplex complex. All right. Well, that I think that rounds out today's.
All right.
Right.
You want to do the chat? Let's do the chat review.
Yeah. Well, we kind of all burnt out on that a little
Palmer's getting antsy.
bit. All right.
All right. So the chat game.
Yeah. What do we got?
Hashtag was broken TV shows.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Let's run right this.
He's running down.
Bay Blind.
What?
Baywatch. Bay Blind.
Oh, okay. Babeline. Gotcha.
Broken Things.
Nice.
The Limping Dead.
Okay.
Dysfunctional Family Guy.
Okay. That's good.
Broken Arrow. Good, decent movie. Crashing in Cars with Comedians.
Nice. That's a good one.
Small Dud Theory.
Okay.
That 70s Trauma.
Oh shit.
Dead PD. Game of Crutches. Invalids of Tomorrow.
Nice.
Downtown Abbey. How I Divorced Your Mother. Bob's Salmonella Burgers.
Nice.
Better Barry Saul. Limited. Collapsed House of Cards. The Bust List. Orphan Dead. 2 Handicapped Girls.
So fucked up.
Quantum Trips.
Oh.
The Kardashians. It's so broken it doesn't need a new name.
Give him a bell on that one. Don't fight.
Whose spine is it anyway?
Ah.
Animatronic Chicken. Who Wants to Be a Pauper? Family Orgy. Remington Alloy.
Aha.
American Healthcare Dad. Fat Albert and the Roofied Kids.
Oh. That's.
Ring the bell. Ring the bell.
We need a wah.
Minnow Tank.
Okay.
How I Destroyed Your Dad. How It Broke. Legend of Yesteryears. America Got No Talent.
Oh shit.
Dora is Lost. Lynching Amy.
Oh fuck.
And 3's Cancer.
Oh.
Oh, you got more.
Oh, there's more.
Okay.
Spoiled Prince of Bel-Air.
Nice.
Agents of Hell, which stands for Hospital Eliminates Lethal Leprosy.
Okay.
Gotham PD. Last Man on Death Row. Molested by an Angel.
Oh Jesus Christ.
Chicago Hope.
Bob liked that one. Okay.
WR Waiting Room.
There you go.
And Dick and Shorty.
Dick and Shorty. What?
As opposed to Rick and Morty.
Oh, okay. Well, kids, thanks for playing the chat room, Gert. You silly goofballs. You silly bunch of goofers. All right.
Molested by an
Some of them just, hey.
I'll drink to that.
I don't know how my father found reruns of that show on a cable channel.
Molested
somewhere
by an
this
angel?
week. Jesus. No, Touched by an Angel.
Same thing.
Sure.
Which is
You
which is really a poor choice of title.
when you think about it,
Is that the show with Della Reese?
Yeah.
God. Don't even get me started on that shit.
Della Reese.
Delarice!
That was CBS in the 90s, man. Roma Downey, Della Reese. I remember
Della!
my grandma used to watch it. It was Touched by an Angel and Walker, Texas Ranger. Both on the same
Okay,
night.
done.
Meanwhile,
I think Diagnosis Murder was in there somewhere, too.
The diagnosis would be murder if you left it on. You'd have to kill somebody to get, probably to change the channel. So here's what we're gonna do. I think what it comes down to with Thor is that in a little bit, we're gonna shift gears and we're gonna go into after show mode, which will actually be a special spoiler loaded Thor review type thing. I don't know how long we're gonna go. We'll just wing it. So I think really like that's kind of like where we're obviously going to get heavy on it, but we can kind of break it down real quick. I think we all liked it.
Yeah.
I think our issues are minimal, if any. we'll probably, if we have any real issues, we'll probably be getting into them in the spoiler review. I know mine kind of have to do with the ending. But, I mean, I liked it. I loved it. It was a fucking ton of fun. More fun than it should have been, probably.
Yeah.
But it was so good. It was so good. Follows suit like Spider-Man. Just an amazing, great action.
Yep.
Good fun.
Yeah.
Well written, well balanced. The flow is nice. It starts off with some action that's not too over the top, but it definitely gets you in the mood for more.
Sure.
And then there's a whole bunch of levity along the way as the story develops that keeps things light and airy until the end, and it's just kind of a fun ride.
Yeah.
This could have been put out in July.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
They really kind of waited with it.
This movie bends the rules as far as they can go.
Okay.
Like this movie almost broke. Like there's a couple points where it was like teetering on that edge and pushing that envelope, and but it does work. It does work. Yeah, a lot of highlights. We'll get into it more.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's my basic review. Cash.
Very good. Cash. Any basic thoughts? You feel like sharing?
Yeah,
Cash.
Yeah, it definitely feels like it was ad-libbed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot of that.
The flow.
Sure.
It just felt like there was a natural ad-libbing kind of thing.
I'll go
going
more
on.
into it officially.
Fair enough. So it's a strong recommendation from everybody
Sure.
at the table for sure. There's nothing else right now.
If I have one thing to say, I think it kind of it feels more in league with the two Guardians films,
Yeah.
and by that logic, you know what I mean. It felt okay for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. I mean, there's a couple times where I was laughing a lot more than I should have, but then at the end of the day, I'm like, you know what? It's still damn good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I'll get more into it later, but it definitely, like, if you had a box set of both Guardians and Thor, you would feel it's the same kind of cosmic-y kind of thing, and I definitely very highly recommend it. But we'll get into it later.
All right. So with that, I guess I'll kick off the meanwhile really just kind of by saying finished Stranger Things. Really, I liked it a lot. I feel like, if anything, there might have been a touch of having a bit of a expectation for more on some level, but they delivered something that feels great as is. Like, that's a thing on me. Like, the show didn't need more. It didn't need to be any bigger than it was, which, you know, was kind of a...
But you still kind of felt like it could have been a little more over the top once or twice?
Well, I feel like the main thrust, like, I was expecting something heavier. Maybe they're holding something more revelatory for next season in a way.
Yeah.
You know, I expected more of a grander picture, and we kind of learned some new things and all that, but... you know, that's probably on an expectation on my end. So I can't fault them for it because they delivered something really good, you know. So that's just where I stand on it. So it's still a hard recommendation for everybody to check it out. Looking forward to season 3 eventually whenever that comes. And I want to kind of recommend anybody who's just kind of like in passing. I'm looking for a good interview podcast to listen to. If you haven't checked out Michael Rosenbaum, he's got a podcast called Inside of You. And Michael Rosenbaum, if you're not familiar, you know that name because he played Lex Luthor on Smallville. So what's really kind of interesting is that these early...
That motherfucker couldn't come back for one fucking episode to round out that show.
Well, if you want to get...
I didn't even watch it. I stopped watching after season 4. When I heard that, I was pissed.
Yeah, it seemed like it kind of played like a dick move, you know?
Yeah.
He touches on that. A little some regret about that at a certain point too. But what's interesting is that, like, for this podcast, at least for now, is that he's interviewing his known celebrity friends. You know, and it's a one-on-one thing. So, and he's interviewing them. So, Tom Welling, Henry Winkler, and this week was a 2-parter for James Gunn, which has got like a lot of cool tidbits and stuff like that, a lot of back and forth. And I was telling Jay before the show that, oddly enough, since he mentioned Rambo, First Blood, that James Gunn's got a funny moment in it where, because Rosenbaum was in Guardians, like, for a hot second. So they have all this mutual ground. So they're talking about Stallone and, you know, and just working with Stallone and getting to meet Stallone and, like, you know, getting, like, you know, for the first time, getting, like, genuinely, like, kind of starstruck around somebody, whatever. And James Gunn's like, yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like, went to his house, got to hang out at his house, and like just hang out with him, and it's strange. And so he's showing me his TV. He's got this new TV, and it's like all these built-in gadgets and stuff, and he's trying to show me, and it just turns out Rambo is on, or First Blood's on, so we put it on. Fuck. We put it on to kind of just, show the stereo and all that, and all of a sudden it turns into DVD commentary live from Stallone himself. I'm out of my mind. Like, you know what I mean? I'm freaking out. Like, and after a while, Stallone's like, oh, I'll stop. He's like, no, keep going. This is too cool. You now have to keep going for the rest of the movie.
Oh, I would have been loving that shit.
So, what's really cool is that since I think about the podcast for people to check out, is because Rosenbaum knows these guys like at a personal level, so it's a good interview thing where like he knows them, so he can ask like the questions aren't just from looking up on Wikipedia. Like he he knows personal stuff about them, and since they kind of have like almost everybody, he's got this kind of like ball busting kind of back and forth with, so it's really interesting to see it. So and you start to all of a sudden realize like this weird little circle of friends he had, like when he first came to LA. And they've all just kind of turned into somebody. Like, the one dude who's got Always Sunny, Rob McCaney, I can't even pronounce his last name, McElhenney. And then, that they all kind of interwove, James Gunn too, and even Nick Swartzen a little bit, even though he's younger and all that. I did he crossed paths years ago, and so Nick Swartzen's got an episode. So I recommend it to anybody. I think it's really kind of an interesting podcast.
Cool.
So that's going to round it out for me, really. But now, I don't know where we start now between you and Jay and Ed, because you guys have an overlap. So let's start with the individual stuff, I guess.
Yeah, go to your other.
Okay, so I'm behind on TV shows. What I've started doing is just waiting until seasons finish and then binging them.
Okay.
And there was a show that was airing on Discovery. Called Manhunt Unabomber. Oh. And this was a mini-series. It starts Sam Worthington as the profiler who tracked down the Unabomber, and Paul Bettany as Theodore Kaczynski.
Okay.
I remember seeing the ads for this because I watch a lot of history.
Yeah.
On Discovery.
Yeah, and it was an interesting show because it starts going from two perspectives. It starts in 95 while he's trying to track him down and first gets the job as profiler on the case. And in 97, after Kaczynski's been caught, trying to convince Kaczynski to plead guilty.
Okay.
So it's like this two-pronged approach, and you see it from different perspectives. And it's a good show. The one small complaint is that you could tell it's a TV show because the commercial breaks the transitions are piss poor.
Okay.
But the drama in it is really good, and Worthington is actually really strong in this. You identify with him, and Paul Bettany. We all know he's a great actor, and he.
Wow. I mean.
Yeah.
Anybody could be Vision, but he's a robot.
Yeah. No.
I'm only kidding.
Yeah. I know. You beautiful mind, master and commander. That guy's a really strong actor.
Gangster #1, man. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Oh,
No.
I thought that was like his credit.
No. He did a British gangster film called Gangster #1. It was him and Malcolm McDowell and David Thewlis.
Yeah.
Definitely check that out.
Yeah, and he treats this part with respect, and it's not over the top at all, and finds a way to make it engaging. So it's okay. It's a cash for me, but I would definitely recommend people checking this out. All right, Jay, you talk about your thing before we go into the other thing.
No, I'm going to close with that.
Okay. All right. So, one other thing. Last weekend when I wasn't here, over that weekend, I went to a double feature and saw actually I saw 3 movies that weekend. I saw one really good one, which is Wonderstruck, which is a little out of our purview. That's more of like an Oscar-run movie. But that's a beautiful little story that people should check out if you have the chance, if it's in your local, if you have an art house theater near you and it's playing Wonderstruck. The other two is a horrible double feature that people told me not to go to both of these movies, but something in the trailers told me that they would be good, and I don't know what I was thinking. First one I'll talk about is Snowman, which I don't even really want to talk about.
It's so bad.
Put it this way, Val Kilmer's in it, and the reason he's not in any of the ads is because they dubbed his voice with someone who doesn't sound like him at all, and it's really shitty dubbing.
Wow.
And it's a lot of problems with that movie.
Wow.
You know what? To go into it would not be dignified.
Fair enough.
Like
Okay.
just out of
So
out of
now
respect.
you got me picturing like Mickey Mouse voice. Val Kilmer comes out. It's like, hi everybody.
I'm
And-
not the killer.
yeah.
No, not me.
Yeah, and the other movie, which Jay also saw, is Suburbicon.
Hey, that
which-
looks good.
Yeah, starring Matt Damon.
Yeah.
It's directed by George Clooney.
Right.
Co-written by George Clooney, Grant Heslov, and the Coen brothers.
Right.
And I thought this was going to be a great dark Coen brothers movie. And Jay, is it?
Well, continue.
Yeah, it's
Jay doesn't share.
okay. It's a great dark Coen brothers movie. That's
Right.
what I thought it was going to be, and then I realized, oh no, this is not directed by the Coen brothers. And what's funny is like I've liked a lot of Clooney stuff in the past. I like
Right.
Good Light and Good Luck, and Ides of March I thought was great. But there's this second storyline that eats up a lot of time in the show. That's this kind of like a black family moves in next door and the whole town turns against them. And it just doesn't vibe with the rest of the movie. And
Okay.
it's this weird thing that it's just like, I don't know what they were going for. This is a screenwriting problem that just doesn't make sense. And there are some good moments in there. Oscar Isaac pulls in a good performance.
Okay.
There's some interesting fight scenes and stunt work. The twist at the ending is kind of cool if you don't see it coming. But overall, this is just a jumbled mess. And yeah, this is a big So Wonderstruck's a cash, Snowman and Suburbicon trash.
All right.
Deep trash.
I see Jay's nodding his head with agreement about Suburbicon.
Yeah. I'm trashing it off the bat because, and this is something that's up my alley because I like dark shit.
That's what it just
You
looked
know
like.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And Coen Brothers are known for that. And it's definitely, it was written 30 years ago. I read that it was written in the 80s,
Okay.
I believe. And Clooney, works with the Coen Brothers all the fucking
Sure.
time. And if you ever, what it reminded me of a little bit was like Burn After Reading, the vibe of it. Because it's a dark comedy kind of like that, but the sad thing about it, it's really sad to trash it because it looks great, it's acted great, you know what I mean, and the actual storyline is catchy, but what they do with it is ridiculous. You know what I mean? It is a mess. The second storyline with the racism was not necessary.
Right.
They could have. I would have liked to have seen what the Coen brothers wrote,
Right.
and to see if they would have just directed that. You know what I mean? Might have been better. But yeah, I was sitting there just thinking, you know what? I don't care anymore. So at one point, I just went on my phone and watched Man of Steel.
Yeah, at a certain fuck you. Fuck you. By the way, I saw that thing you put on Twitter. By the way, with those steel books.
Oh, you saw that? I don't
Yeah.
remember doing it.
Yeah.
Must have been on autopilot. That's what happens when I'm on autopilot.
Why didn't you just change your screen name to Man of Steel books?
I almost did. Man of Steel books. That's good.
Right.
I like. This way, every time Ed needs to tweet me, he's going to say,
That's
"Son
your
of a bitch."
That's your podcast, Jay.
Yeah.
Man of Steel.
Man of Steel books.
Yeah.
And I won't talk about Steel books.
No,
I'll just talk about
it's
stupid
Man of
shit.
Steel. Just every episode a new thing about Man of Steel.
We'll go frame by frame.
Oh my God, one of those podcasts.
No, but trash for me, I agree. I'm 100% agreement with Ed on this, and it's a shame, actually. I just want to add that.
Well, I kind of feel like that. It was funny. I heard it was getting mixed reviews, and a lot of the negative, like the bad reviews, were actually kind of hard on it. That it does kind of not hold up very well.
But you know what? I think the reason why it's hard because there's a lot
Of potential.
that went
Yeah,
into this.
yeah,
It
yeah.
looks amazing. It looks beautiful.
Yeah.
I get the the whole 50s decor and what they did, but it's executed poorly. I don't get it. I don't understand.
Did you get the sense by the end that like you're not sure who you're supposed to be rooting for?
I clearly understood. You
Yeah.
know that everybody's a shitbag except for the kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know
Well,
what I
even
mean?
him by the end.
But I'm just saying, like, again, you get it, and everything kind of just falls into place, I guess, you know what I mean? And everybody gets their just desserts, and, I've seen that kind of thing already, and nothing new is added.
Yeah, like, this is another thing where if they made the movie that's in the trailer, I think that works out.
I actually think the movie that was in the trailer was exactly what the Coen brothers wrote.
Yeah.
and everything, all the filler that we don't like is what.
Because that storyline is so shoehorned in, and it's so like we've got to say something with this movie.
Not having seen the movie, it almost sounds like by your descriptions that too many liberals were involved in making the movie.
I have no.
I have no clue. I mean, it could have been something where it was like they looked at the script and realized we don't have any black characters.
I mean that's kind of what I'm getting at in a sideways kind of way.
But that's
but listen, Clooney is a great director. You know what I mean? I was blown away by his first movie, which was Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, which was the Chuck Barris from the Gong Show story. He said he was in the CIA.
Yeah.
I liked Good Night and Good Luck, which I believe he was even nominated for. And then a couple of movies that he made after that, it was kind of like, okay, you know what I mean? So he's an ample director. I just don't understand what happened here. Not everyone's a winner.
Yeah, well, that's it. You know what I mean? I think it's it seemed like you said, everything was going good for
Yeah, he's ample. He's ample.
So
He's got nice boobs.
I want to give a little shout out to new follower from the Mixler account, Benny Livewire, in the chat room right now.
Hey, Betty, welcome.
Benny actually was sharp enough to click the follow button and is following us because I just went into the emails because it's email time.
Well, I had one more meanwhile, but
You did?
We'll save it for next week.
No, do it.
No, it's fine. I got to do an unboxing video for it. And everything.
Okay.
The time is past, Bill.
Oh, once I
You
played
just
the
played
audio,
it, yeah.
now it's too late.
Well,
Yeah.
I can't play it in reverse. So
We're gonna hear about this all night once we stop recording.
you guys fucking suck. This show is the worst. Bill don't know what's going on. I'm sorry. No. That's not at all, Jay. All right. So let's
Emails. What do we got? Emails. Who sent an email? Send me. Who wrote an email? We have emails? Who sent an email?
Email.
Please fucking say something, Bill, so I can stop talking.
we want
Emails.
email.
Emails.
Email.
Do you have any emails?
We do.
Okay.
Email. Wesley.
I almost spit my coffee out.
Wesley.
And it was,
Wesley, what's up?
So that does mean this is an email from Wesley, and it starts out, "Hey, you gentlemen, has anything excited and terrified you at the same time?" And for Ed, is it anything other than a DC movie?
Well, that is a fair point, though.
Excited and terrified me at the same time.
It's like, I think, like...
Well, I could say the new It movie.
I mean,
because I was excited that it was so good, but it was terrifying. So
I don't know about terrifying, but I think something close to that might be like, I don't know, getting laid for the first time, where it's like, oh, Christ, how's this going to go? What's going on? It seems simple, but I don't know. It's too easy. I must be doing it wrong. One of these kinds of situations. But terrified and excited at the same time. I don't know. I'd love to hear anybody in the chat room have something. You have something that fits that, being excited and terrified at the same time. I guess if you were to like horror porn, maybe.
Maybe that would be maybe not that I would know, but somebody's wedding night.
Yeah, you see, like I have personal experiences like that, but those are boring, and like no one would.
I think that's what he's kind of asking, though.
Yeah,
like, I mean, like obviously, like how personal does it get? You can't share it, but or is it?
No, it's like, not that I can't share it. It's like
feels mundane and stupid.
Yeah, no. If I described it to you, you wouldn't get it. And
listen. I love being in an elevator and being scared it's going to crash, but then getting to the first floor safely. I think it fits both of those.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times when I was doing high school speech and acting, a lot of moments before a performance, I had that like jitterbug feeling of like, this is going to be really good, and if I fuck it up, oh shit. You know, and it's that kind of thing where you get that jumble for a moment, and then you jump into it, and you're fine.
Suggestions, you know, for being terrified and excited. James says when they did the G.I. Joe movies. I don't blame him because I was excited and then I was terrified. So with that, his next question is Ed still a recurring guest? I don't know. Didn't we rectify this?
Yeah, not really.
Not really?
His eyes lit up, Bill. You were reading his eyes were gigantic.
Yeah. You've never. Every time someone has said,
Right.
"So is Ed still a guest?"
Right.
Lately, you've just been going like, and not answering.
Well, I mean, in that case, Wesley's next question is: how many people do you think are starting to recognize the names of the from the Marvel movies?
What do you mean?
Yeah, I don't get it either.
Never mind. How many people do you think are starting to recognize names from the Marvel movies? I'm not sure about that. What it even means.
I mean, like superhero movie,
No,
superhero
I
names,
think-
or
I
you
think
mean
he
actors'
means-
names?
I think
Wesley, explain yourself, brother.
if I say Fandral, are you gonna know the guy from Thor: The Dark World?
Oh, like some lesser known
Yeah,
characters
yeah.
becoming now more mainstream.
Yeah. And I think it's the kind of guy. It's the kind of thing where people won't know the character's name, but if you say, "Oh, that guy," they'll be like, "Oh, that guy."
I think you need a name like Taserface now.
Yeah.
To be able to be remembered. And even with that, I'm like, I remember Taserface as a name more than I remember which guy is actually Taserface. I think.
Yeah.
I think I know who Taserface is, but I'm not. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't think so for 100%.
Wesley said in the credits.
In the credits.
Recognizing names in the credits, like Mike
Like-
Giacchino, or composers' names and stuff like that.
I'm not. Yeah. Again, who sits through the credits and recognizes the names? So Ed knows every one of those guys. Ed's got a checklist that he brings with him, and it's like, I saw this guy's name. I saw
He
that guy's
stalked
name.
every single one of them.
He follows them all on Instagram.
No.
What three?
Well, he's got an Instagram where it shows that he's following them all.
Wesley's last question is: what 3 items would you use to summon each other?
Oh, like spirit totems.
I guess. I don't know that I would need. Oh, I guess I would need one for each. We would each need one for each of us. Okay,
I just need 2. I need
Right.
a guitar and a really loud amp.
right for you. But what
Yeah.
would you need to summon us?
That's
the question.
that's what I would need.
For me to summon
That's
Bob,
what you.
you
That's
know
what we would need to summon you. What would you need to summon him? To summon him?
No, I
or to
would
summon him?
just need the guitar and the amp because I crank the amp, you'd hear me, and then we
Oh, I
come
wouldn't.
on.
No, none of us would come running.
I was just gonna
This is
say-
Bob playing. He doesn't need me.
Yeah. No.
For me to summon Bob, I was going to get a guitar and an ice cream sandwich.
That might get him coming. That might get him over.
Yeah.
At least for the ice cream sandwich. I mean, guitar, he might be.
Oh, cookies or donuts, too.
I like snacks. I really don't know. And some of it I don't know if we can share on
Yeah,
air.
like that secret totem. Like I guess for you, Bill, it would be a bit lighter.
Yeah. Just give just another one, as if I need another one.
And a Stephen King novel, any novel.
Paperback, please.
Yeah, for Jay, it would be a bottle of hooch.
Oh, of course.
There
Yeah.
you go. And a funnel.
And a cigar.
To summon Jay, you just yell "fuck you" as loud as you can. Says James from the chat room.
Yeah? What's going on? What happened?
So with that, that's going to round out Wesley. But to round it out, I would like to point out that James in the chat room did say that that it's interesting that where did he put it? Shit, I missed it. Fuck.
Recognizing actors' names? Hell no. Sandman reference? Is that what
No.
you're
I'm
saying?
I'm still jealous of Wesley. His emails are so awesome that he gets his own intro music. And, I don't know what the barometer ever is, but he sent in his own intro. His own
Yes, he
music,
did. Yes,
actually.
he did.
He helped create that bit. So there you go. That's him, Pilates, and he says.
And that all because all I said was Mr. Belvedere one day.
Yeah. Well, Wesley. I mean,
Wesley.
Wesley, we've been giving him the Mr.
Belvedere since I got here.
I was about to say best of Belvedere. And Mr. Belvedere is, I think, from Jump Street, though. So he says good afternoon, good evening, and good night, and all that good stuff. On to the next one here from James Halden. And Bob's playing your music right now. Little something,
Sorry,
something twangy and country.
It's the
something-
Deliverance music.
I'm figuring we're getting ready to go. So
No.
I'm trying to come up with
I
something.
wasn't putting it on you.
How come you're playing dueling banjos, Bob? Because of James?
Because of James? That's why.
No, that's doing banjos. is-
There it is, James.
I mean, that's all I got, boy. I said, boy.
That's right, boy.
It was a very busy but awesome week, says James. My wife found out that we're still. My wife found out where we're staying has Wi-Fi and got us the password, so I've been able to start season 2 of Stranger Things. How's Don doing with his reading? Dominic, you mean? He's actually not here, and I think his reading is falling off because he's got a little pressure with school, and I don't know what he's doing with his reading assignment.
Got hit the books.
Yeah, it was a bold proclamation, I think, for him to be able to kind of like stick on it. But he's got time to kind of chug away. But I just don't know how much he's chugging.
He's got to hit them books.
On those Game of Thrones books. You know what I mean?
Where's your fucking boy?
Where's your fucking books? Yeah. So that's really gonna round out the emails.
All right.
You know what I mean? It's going to round out the emails. So I will say that we have a couple of minutes here.
Oh, I have someone to call out.
Who you? What's the
Right.
matter?
The movie Downsizing.
Oh, okay.
Their marketing company should be fired. Because I saw a trailer today. I was excited for this movie. It's Alexander Payne, directed Sideways, Descendants, Election, bunch of other stuff.
They've been showing us in front of Thor.
Yeah, there was a trailer that I saw in front of Thor that ruined a key plot point that I think would have been very surprising and made the movie interesting.
Right, kind of a twisty left turn thing. Not twisty, but left turn.
Yeah, and it's a deep insight into Matt Damon's character, and I feel cheated. I wanted to find out when I saw that movie.
Right.
And trailers, I mean, I guess that's something that happens earlier in the movie, but I feel like
Maybe
trailers that you've just got to give this taste.
Well, you know what it is? We saw a trailer where they didn't have that aspect in it.
Yeah.
So now it feels like we probably either we saw a turn that's kind of a spoiler, or it's a thing that happens in the movie that maybe the other trailers just weren't really highlighting it. It's a bigger focus to the plot point of the movie overall than we thought.
Yeah.
But it does in that one trailer because it comes so late in the trailer too that it feels like a late in the game, late in the second act kind of a turn thing. You know what I mean? Where it's like, oh, bummer, like kind of a sad story now. Like it did feel a little bit like that too. But yeah, it's been a while since the trailer kind of feels like it kind of fucked it up a little bit.
Yeah, like I'm with Dom now. At this point, like just I've always said it should be outlawed that anything from the third act, should be allowed in the trailer.
By the way, James, as far as the intro, the dueling banjos, he says I'll take it. He's all right for that. He's like, I am from Georgia.
Jay, your thoughts on trailers?
Trailers in general, Jay, thoughts?
They're all right.
Fucking ass.
You're talking about the wife thing, right?
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, that thing you were dancing around and not really getting super specific about?
Yeah. Because I'm trying to tell people to not see this trailer.
Did I give everything away?
No, you actually gave something out that's in a trailer that's being exploited everywhere.
I mean, it's in a trailer now.
But I gotta tell you something, Ed. I kind of called that.
I didn't say anything about the wife
I had a
thing,
feeling,
just
like
the wife
when I
thing.
saw it, I said, "Oh wow, I was right. I knew she wasn't gonna go through with it."
Okay.
I kind of had a feeling.
Yeah. I still would have liked to have found that out in the theater.
I get what you're saying, but you know what? Fuck it.
Fuck it. I bet you're still going to see it.
It's clearly not going to be the focus of the movie if they're giving it away that early.
Yeah.
Besides, I was watching, the Star Wars Last Jedi trailers over and over again because I need that today.
James in the chat room. What about that Superman special effects bullet bouncing off his eye? You never saw that in the movie, right? Wasn't that just in the trailer?
That was from Superman Returns.
that was Superman Returns. That was in the movie.
Oh, okay. I guess I'm losing the context of why he's mentioning it then.
Yeah, but that was something you saw in the trailer. So that was something they actually went back and did reshoot that they did as part of their reshoots. And I think they spent like another $3 million in the budget just on that one moment.
You would think it wouldn't really kind of...
Yeah.
One camera, one guy, 1 minute. Like, then the rest of it's CG.
Yeah.
You're right there. Did you make that one a little extra spicy? What's in this beverage? Tabasco?
Scotch or soda?
Spicy.
Might as well go for a soda. That's an 80s tune.
If you're singing it, it must be.
Yeah.
Just teasing. All right, so
I just said yeah.
Yeah, it was the face. The face made me feel like I went too far or something.
Nah, never.
All right,
You know I love you to death.
That means you kill me.
Even though you fucked up Arrow Video's plug here today.
I guess I did. I mean, I don't know. I was trying to take a backseat. There's obviously.
You want to close with it? Maybe we can close.
If you want to, yeah, you want to close with it?
We'll close with it since we got a few.
Yeah,
minutes.
let's close out with a little recommendation.
We'll close out with a recommendation. We'll call it Uncle Jay's recommendation.
Uncle Jason's recommendation.
Cash.
On the way out the door.
So I bought John Carpenter's The Thing on Blu-ray for the third time.
All right, you can never have enough.
Let's put that in context. In Blu-ray.
In Blu-ray
for the third time. Not
the
like
third time.
I bought it on VHS, then DVD,
But
then Blu-ray.
let me explain the history.
Sure.
The first one is sitting right next to Bill because I gave it to him as a Halloween gift.
Thank you.
Okay, and then I bought Scream Factory's version that had all these like extras and shit like that. And now Arrow Video in the UK released another edition.
Okay.
But it had like a lot of swag in it. It had like the replications of the lobby cards, had a really cool poster art, but the extras on it. I really got it because of there's like another disc devoted to fucking extras.
Oh boy.
And there's literally like 6 hours of shit on here. And
Or by a British man that says, right now, if you watch this thing, you'd be scared to fucking piss off you, man.
well, actually, no, because what they did was the UK went to Texas, and there's a horror con out there called Texas Frightmare, and they had this panel, and it had Keith David, who plays Childs, Thomas Waits, who plays Windows, and Wilfred fucking Brimley. And I say Wilfred fucking Brimley because he's phenomenal. You know what I mean? He's sitting there with a cowboy hat.
Wow.
And you think because he's old that he's not going to say anything.
Yeah.
Oh, man, does he not only does he bring it to the table, you realize he's a guy that is he goes to work, says what he's got to do, and he's so good at it.
He's kind of been a grumpy old man a little bit for a while now.
But the thing
he's older now, so it even comes out even looser.
Yeah, but in
great.
The Thing, he's got a lot to do. Because he's a key aspect in that film and the way he delivers. But he's like, this was 35 years ago. I don't remember shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
kind of had a feeling that's exactly.
And a couple of the cast members died, and one guy was saying, I just want to call out to these guys. They were great.
Right,
you know what I mean? Stuff like that. I wish they can be here. And Wilfred Brimley was like, yeah, so do they, because they're dead.
You know what I mean? Like,
he's just that real guy.
Yeah.
Did he try any diabetes medication?
Wilfred Brimley did not know The Thing was this huge cult phenomenon until like a year ago.
I believe it.
He's like, I'm sitting here. I mean, look at these folks. This Thing.
For one movie you're here for?
He was just so real. He was absolutely real. And it's just like, acting for him was just like he gets up. I did this film. I met John Carpenter. He was a nice fella. I did the movie. I paid some bills. And
he don't get it.
He goes, I paid some bills, and that's it. Now I'm signing autographs.
He's sitting there thinking, if you people come out for this movie, imagine the crowd I'll get for The Firm.
So the $25 I paid for it was worth it for that hour alone. But here's another thing I wanted to tell Ed. I wanted to tell Ed about this because there's a documentary exclusive on this release all about the summer of '82 and the movies that came out. And they go through each release one by one from May to August. And the significance.
I've talked about this. That is like one of the primo summers in movie history.
And they go one by one from, like I said, May to August, and the significance of each one.
Yeah.
Why some failed, why some, E.T. was a huge monkey wrench.
Yeah, E.T. killed Carpenter's The Thing and Blade Runner.
Right. And they go into all of that. So it's a really awesome piece. And I would lend it to you, but it's a Region B because it's from the UK.
Oh, yeah.
I have
so you're going to have to go over his house and watch it.
You have to go over my house and...
All right, we have an excuse now.
You got an excuse.
All right.
So this is a very, very high stash. It is an amazing piece. If you have a region-free player, do yourself a favor. Go to... you can... Go to Amazon UK.
Sure.
It's easy to just buy something from them.
What are you doing tomorrow?
And then I'm at a table read.
Oh, that's right. Shh. Well, you can leave the key under the door.
Yeah, Uncle Jay's exploring his acting abilities, and that's all I can say.
That's all we can say right now.
But a very high stash, and congrats to Arrow Video because these guys always knock it out of the park.
It seems to.
So especially if you're a cult and horror fan. I mean, movies like in the UK, it's different because UK and USA, they have two different rights issues.
Yes.
But in the UK, they have movies like The Burbs.
Right.
With a 2 hours, 3 hours worth of extras, man.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Each movie gets that treatment. So if you like a certain film and you want to know more about it, if the Arrow Video is supplying the film, you're in luck, man.
Nice. You know that you're gonna get a good a good bunch of a good package.
Absolutely, and that's not the shit on Scream Factory and Shout Factory because they're great too.
Because these are other names I've heard too, not just from you, but from others too. Like these three actually are the only. Maybe there's others. But these three seem to keep coming up lately.
But like, if you're a fan, like I'm a fan of the Thing. It's one of my. We established it.
Yeah.
But it's kind of sucks because if you want all this information, this extra information, you're kind of like buying the movie twice.
All right.
You know what I mean?
So let me ask you this then. Last question.
Yeah.
If the Thing was a real thing, would you fuck it?
Yeah.
All right. Cool. All right. So that's gonna wrap up this episode.
Yep. I hope Arrow Video.
Strong.
I hope Arrow Video. they appreciate that.
They can edit that part out.
Listen, if Wilford Brimley was going on and off. He was talking.
Was he a little?
Who's the dog handler jerking the dogs off and shit?
Like, was he saying some crazy stuff?
I'll show you a bit. I have a bit. I'll play for you.
Oh, Jesus. All right. So with that, we're going to wrap it up. We're going to say thanks for listening. You don't know where to check us out at, but let's take a round. Go around the table real quick. Where can people be found? Uncle Jay, right?
Uncle Jay at Jason Chickaleash, which may not be for long.
Okay.
Because I might have to change it.
You may have to change it now to
Man of Steel books.
Man of Steel books. manofsteelbooks.com coming soon. Under construction. And Ed?
You can find me at Edward O'Hare TBD.
Nice.
And at manofsteelbooks.com.
At DCTV Report.
Right, DCTV Report. Yeah. Okay, and then...
Those steel books were beautiful, man.
Brother Bob?
At Bob WTPC.
Thank you, sir.
On the Twitters.
On the Twitters. That's actually what we're talking. I should have said that. We're all on the Twitters. That's what we're talking about. I am at Wicked Theory, the show. You can find it at wickedtheory.com. You can find it actually on Facebook. Hey, go to the Facebook page. Like the Facebook page. I really don't post a lot there, but,
maybe I should start.
Yeah, maybe we should kind of get that back up a little bit. And then iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music. You know that stuff already. Yep. Stick around if you're listening live. We're going to...
review Thor.
We're going to do a Thor special. And... if we do a non-spoiler, it'll be brief up front and like really super brief. So we're gonna wing it. So stick around listening live. We got a song in the break to let us stretch our legs and stuff. It's a 5-minute track. Faith No More. Bringing it back.
I want it all.
No, not that good. Bob, take us out of here, Bob, before you keep singing.
The Wicked Theory podcast is heard live every Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern until whenever. Just go to mixler.com/wicked-theory. Mixler is MIXLR. Sign up to join the chat. Then click the follow button to get reminders whenever the show goes live. You can find the show on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music, wherever good podcasts are given away for free, and at wickedtheory.com. You can support the show at patreon.com/wickedtheory. There you can get the after show if you miss it live. God forbid. Plus other exclusive episodes. As always, send your emails to podcast@wickedtheory.com.